Imagine pouring your heart into a business idea for months, every late night, every sketch, every pitch, and then watching your own boss present it as his. Like he invented it. Like you were invisible. But what he didn't know was that I had a backup plan. One that would leave him publicly humiliated and financially destroyed. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by someone in power, or had your hard work stolen by someone who thought they could get away with it, then buckle up. This story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll hear all week. The setup, my dream, his theft. I had this idea. Not just any idea. A niche tech solution tailored for small logistics companies, automating route planning and real-time updates, reducing fuel costs, and improving delivery time by up to 20%. I'd seen the gap during my 3 years working in operations. Every free second, I worked on it. Nights. Weekends. My girlfriend used to joke that I had a side hustle with no sleep. I was 26. Hungry. Broke. But so damn passionate. My boss, let's call him Rick, had always come off as one of those cool startup CEOs. Patagonia vest, beanbag office, weekly pizza meetings. But underneath the surface, he was a snake in Air Jordans. When I finally got a prototype and pitch deck ready, I made the mistake of showing it to him first. I was proud, eager for feedback. I even floated the idea of incubating it under the company's name, with me leading the division. Rick smiled. "This is good. Really good," he said. I felt seen. Respected. What a joke. Because just 2 weeks later, I sat in our Monday team meeting, and there it was. My idea. Same name, same pitch deck design, same tech. But this time, it wasn't me presenting it. It was Rick. He stood there, smug, introducing it as his vision for the company's future. I sat frozen. My heart pounded so hard I could hear the rush in my ears. I looked around. My teammates nodded and clapped, thinking Rick was some genius innovator. I didn't speak. I didn't move. But in my head, something clicked. Okay, Rick. You just declared war. The plan, revenge, doesn't sleep. Overnight, everything changed. He assigned a small team to his new project. I wasn't one of them. When I asked why, he smirked and said, "I need you to focus on your current responsibilities. Let the big dogs handle innovation." I could have screamed. Instead, I smiled. Because I had a backup. You see, I never gave Rick the full prototype. The one I'd shown him? That was a watered-down decoy. It had just enough polish to look legit, but none of the advanced route algorithms I had spent months refining. I still had the real gold. And more importantly, I owned the intellectual property. I'd quietly registered the code and the brand under my name 3 months prior. Rick had stolen my pitch. But not the product. Not the soul. And now, I was going to bury him with it. The execution, let the real games begin. I quit. I walked into his office a month later and said, calmly, "Thanks for the opportunity. But I think it's time I build something of my own." He leaned back in his chair, smug. "You're gonna build a startup? Good luck, buddy. The market's rough." I smiled. "Don't worry. I think I'll manage." What he didn't know is that I'd already raised $400,000 in angel investment through a mentor I met at a logistics conference. I had a CTO on board. I had early beta testers lined up. And I had his version of the idea crashing and burning because none of his engineers could get the tech to actually work. I launched my version under a different name. It was faster, leaner, and we hit product market fit within 4 months. Users flooded in. Reviews rolled out. My app was getting attention. And one day, just 5 months post-launch, TechCrunch ran a story. Former startup employee builds revolutionary logistics app, raises $2.2 million in seed funding. Guess who saw it? Rick. He emailed me the same day. "Congrats on the launch. Crazy coincidence on the product direction, huh? Maybe we can collaborate." I didn't respond. But I had something better. The kill shot, courtroom karma. Rick's company started using part of the codebase I had registered. And guess what? My IP lawyer was very interested. We sent a cease and desist. They ignored it. So we sued. And we won. Turns out, Rick's dev team had lifted a chunk of my early framework from the decoy files I had shared. They thought they could modify it enough to avoid detection. But my logs, timestamps, and version control said otherwise. The settlement? Mid-six figures. His visionary project? Shut down. Investors pulled out. His company? Downsized and eventually acquired for scraps by a competitor. Rick? Last I heard, he was consulting, which is startup code for unemployable. I didn't just get my idea back. I got everything. The validation. The money. The respect. And most deliciously, the look on his face when the judge said, "You are hereby ordered to cease usage of the plaintiff's intellectual property and pay damages." Poetic. Cold. Legal. Perfect. Sometimes, revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, the sweetest payback is just success with receipts. You can't stop people from stealing ideas. But you can make sure they regret it for the rest of their career. If this story gave you chills or fired up that justice-loving part of your soul, smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Have you ever had your work stolen? What would you do if it happened to you? Thanks for watching, and remember,